pushing me around, but I'll stand my ground, and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
My name is Diane King, and this is my guest, Jim Rizoli, who in the past decade might be considered an expert on the topic. Welcome to the show, Jim.
Nice to be here, Diane. It's nice to see you have a show on the Ashland network, and I'm glad that I can be able to help you.
Well, I appreciate that. Expect your expertise on the subject. We're going to investigate the topics of the evolution of immigration in this country, particularly focusing on the greater Boston area, which at the time would include the Italians and Irish. So perhaps you could put us in the picture historically and then bring it up to date, what's going on today. But just a little thumbnail sketch on what the immigration was like in the days when the Irish came.
Well, a lot of people don't realize this, but the Irish started pouring into this country in the 1800s. In the 1850s, half the United States was German ancestry. And a lot of people don't realize that. And then all the other nationalities started coming in after that, after the 1850s, 60s. In New York, we learned from the movie Gangs of New York, a lot of Irish were coming and streaming in from Ireland at that time, and from other European countries too. So between the later 1800s and the 1900s, in 1920s up until the 20s, 30s, well, the Germans were coming in first there. You had the Irish coming in, and then you had the Italians were coming in. Quite a diverse group of amount of people were coming in at these times, and most of us today that live here are descendants of immigrants that came here, firsthand. So, but of course my parents were second generation. So my grandparents were first generation, my parents were second generation, and I'm third generation. Now, where we stand today, it's a little different what's happening here, because the immigration situation in the United States is pretty critical, and they say that between 10 million, I believe there's more than, I really think there's 20 million or 30 million immigrants in this country today, and most of them probably being illegal. But that's a whole other story now, because when our grandparents came in here, they basically came in to stay. They always want to relate to, the United States is a country of immigrants, and that's true. We are a country of immigrants, but the immigrants have changed. They've changed from where they're coming from. There's not as many coming from Europe anymore as they are coming from South America. They're coming from Africa. They're coming from all these other, south of the border countries. That's where they're coming from the most now. And now we're taking in a lot of refugees. That's a whole other story, because the refugee situation is happening because of the United States' poor foreign policy situations, because they're going in these countries like Afghanistan and Iraq, and now they want to go in Iran. And they're displacing a lot of people because they're killing a lot of people in these countries for no reason. And now these people have no place to go. They've been displaced, and the United States has been gracious enough to take in a lot of these refugees. But the immigrants is a whole other story. Okay, the immigrants that are coming in, there's a big difference between refugees and immigrants. The refugees is coming in because the United States put these people in that position, and they have no place to go, so the United States let them in. Now, the immigrant situation is, we let in probably 1 million immigrants a year legally. So we have a very generous immigration policy anyway. I think we probably have the most generous immigration policy of all the countries, all right, because we allow, so many to come in legally. But the problem is we have too many that are coming in illegally now. It's probably like 10 to 1, it seems, at least. And the way it happens, I want to explain a little bit about the way the immigrants are coming here. I'm going to explain what's happening to Framingham, Ashland, even Natick now is having problems. So I'm going to get into that and talk about that, and just show you that this immigration situation has to be dealt with, because it's not a pleasant situation. All right. Now, there was an article in the paper just the other day. This fellow talked about his immigration travels and how he came here from his country. I believe he was from Colombia or from South America. It really doesn't make any difference what country he came from, because they're all the same. But anyway, he explained how the immigrants do it today. Okay, what they do is in their country. Let's say the country is Brazil. Okay, because I know in Framingham we have a lot of Brazilians. Well, what they do, 40% of the illegal immigrants, come here through the legal means in the beginning, visas. And as they have a visa, and they come here saying they're going to go visit Disney World or coming to visit a relative. Now, that visa is only good for so many weeks. It's not good forever. It's only good for so many weeks. So they come here, and let's say they gave them, 4 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever to stay here. After that visa expires, they're supposed to go home. If they don't go home, now there's illegal entry, and they're violating the law. So 40% do come that way. Okay. Now the other percent, 60% of people, they come here illegally. So that means they come, through South America up through Mexico, and they cross over through the Mexican border illegally, and they come into our country that way there. And that's the majority of how people get here. Okay, now that's completely illegal, coming here from another country and coming over to our borders, so we know that that's not right. But I think what bothers me is the other people that actually come here on visas, and then they overstay the visas. Another thing that the women will do is they will come over here pregnant. Okay, so they come over here pregnant, and then they overstay the visas, and now they end up giving birth in this country. And this country has a crazy law or rule that they apply here. They say that anybody born in this country is automatically a United States citizen, which is absolutely insane. Not too many other countries. I don't even think any other country does that, but the United States does that. So the women actually get involved with these travel companies or whatever that actually say it in their traveling brochures, about coming here and giving birth in this country so that your baby can be now legal. Now, remember, the baby might be legal, quote legal, but they're not legal. All right, and there's where the problem lies. Because technically speaking, if these people were caught, they should be deported and sent home. But now that they have a baby, and then the baby grows up and ends up getting into the school system, that becomes a problem now. But remember, the people are still illegal. The baby might be legal, but the people are illegal. And so what happens now is they end up, getting jobs, which is illegal. If you're in this country, well, they're illegal to be here in the first place, but it's definitely illegal for somebody who was in this country without the proper permits to work here. So that's not a good thing either. But they end up getting work, and they find work in the restaurants, in the service industries, landscapers, painters, all these type of things they get involved in there, and they end up working there illegally. Now, if the business was taking the task for having them there, they would be fine, but that very rarely happens. And then there's a lot of people that hire the illegal immigrant women to clean their homes and do all that stuff too. And then, of course, if we go down to some stores like the Market Basket, these stores hire illegals, and they don't seem to have any problem with it. No one checks the documents to see if these people are legal or illegal or anything. They don't care. They just want them to work. And so that's their responsibility, but they don't do it. So now this is how the illegal immigrants function and get along in our towns. And I know in Framingham, 29% of the kids in the school system speak another language. All right, which basically means that they're illegal, okay? Most of the kids, I'd say Framingham is about 8,000 kids in the school system, and I would say about 1,500 are illegal, all right? Or they were born here, they're legal, but their parents are illegal. So it's all part of illegal activity, okay? Ashland, I'm not too sure of, but I did notice in the paper the other day that Ashland's having the same problem as Framingham. Framingham, they said that there was about 150 new kids that came into the school system, and I think within 2015, 2016. That's a lot of kids. And most of them are the children of illegal immigrants. Now Ashland is having the same problem. You notice that they're looking to build schools now in Ashland and Framingham and Natick, okay? Because they don't have enough room in the schools because of the illegal immigrant children coming in. But remember, they're not telling you this though, okay? They're not telling you that the problem is because of the children of illegal immigrants. They're just telling you that a lot of kids are coming to the school system, and they're not zeroing in on who they are. Framingham does break it down to Brazilian or Colombian or you know, whatever the languages are to some degree. But you know, we know that you know, 1,500 kids, that's a lot of kids. And then you have to understand what the cost is. In Framingham, it's about $16,000. I wish it was $1,600, but it's about $16,000 per year to educate any child in the Framingham school system. So you figure if you have 1,500 or more kids that are in the school system, you multiply that 1,500 times 16,000, and you're over like $25 million or whatever it is that are coming into the school system. Okay, so it's a tremendous amount of money of you know, children that are coming here and what we have to pay for them. In Ashland, again, I noticed that they're looking to build a new school in Ashland. But again, they're not telling you where the kids are coming from. Normally, what happens with people coming into a town, you know, you don't get more than, you know, maybe 10 to 20 kids a year coming into a town. I mean, normally, that's about it. But when you have 100, 150 children coming into the school system, that's just not something that's, you know, random. That's a planned attack of people coming to the town. And that's exactly what's going on here. These kids are just coming in because the amount of illegal immigrants that are coming in to the towns is just astronomical, and it's just getting worse. Now, if you had any other questions, did you want to ask me anything else?
Yes, you answered the question basically of the expense involved. And you have noticed, particularly through town meeting, that each time you get together, the amount for dealing with, usually it's through the English as a second language courses for the adults, that the price keeps going higher. The more money is required for kids in the school. More kids are coming to school. First question, why are they coming to Framingham? And isn't this a federal problem? It looks like Framingham has to pay for it.
Well, the problem with Framingham is that they refuse to see the elephant in the room.
Which is?
The illegal immigrants that are coming to town. And there's a couple ways that they're allowing this to go on. And the first way they're allowing this to come on is through the businesses that are coming into Framingham. When a business comes into Framingham, it has to go before the Board of Selectmen, even if they do this, because a lot of them probably don't even do it. But if they want to try to legitimize themselves, they have to get you know, approval from the Board of Selectmen, because the Board of Selectmen is the, you know, business approval branch of our government. And so, you know, they come before the Board of Selectmen, and some of them don't even speak English. The first question the Board of Selectmen should ask is, are you legal in this country to work? Do you have permission from the federal government to work here?
Paper.
Yeah, the paper to do this. Our selectmen don't ask that question. All right? So what happens is these people, let's say it's a car deal, a lot of car dealerships in Framingham, landscaping businesses, or whatever other business it is. So they come in and they get the business going. And so what do? They just hire other illegal immigrants. That's what they do. So you have one person coming in, He opens up a business. Now he has 5 other illegal immigrants working for him. Nobody questions him. Now, we had a big problem with this with massage parlors in Framingham. There's several, and one of them we complained about. We said, you really got to look into these massage parlors. Now, they didn't look at it from the illegal immigrant end of it. They only looked at it from the health end of it, saying, are they violating any rules against the health ordinances of the town? All right? But the real question would have been are the people that are running that business legal? Do they have permission from the federal government to work here? And are the people that they're hiring, are they approved by the federal government? Do they have the proper paperwork to work here also? They never asked those questions. Now we had, again, the problem was, we had a massage parlor here that was a little bit doing too much with massages here, okay? If you know what I mean. And they got picked up on it, and then I come to find out the same massage parlor was involved with human trafficking. I mean, you got to be kidding me. So here's the Board of Health saying, oh, we took care of the problem there. The people that are working in that business now are doing everything right, and it's a healthy, clean environment. But nobody cared about the fact that they were involved with human trafficking. I mean, that's a real serious offense. And any of you liberals out there watching this, if you think this is a joke, if you think it's a joke to take a woman away from her country, all right, and bring her here on false, premises or whatever promising them false hopes, and then keeping them practically jailed in a house because you take away their visa that might have expired. If you think that's a nice thing to do to a woman, and then even some of them using them for prostitutes, I don't know where your brain is, because this is the most inhumane thing you can do. But then you complain because we see this happening and we say it shouldn't be happening. But these poor immigrants, and you shouldn't be speaking out against. I'm not speaking out against that poor person that is caught in the prostitution ring or in the human trafficking ring. I'm speaking about the people who are bringing them here and doing that. Because that person wouldn't be being harmed if you didn't bring them here. Okay, so there's people in the town that are getting away with bringing these illegal people to this country, and they're making a lot of money on it, and that's what really bothers me about that. So that's a big problem in Framingham. Now, in Ashland, the same thing's happening now in Ashland. A lot of illegal immigrants are coming to Ashland, and the way you know that's happening is because they're building new buildings for apartments. Ashland does not have enough apartments. See, that's the big difference between Framingham, Ashland, and Natick. Framingham is the beachhead for illegal immigration because we have the most apartments of anybody around. There's probably 16,000 apartments in Framingham, and a lot of them go, for the illegal immigrants. Now, Ashland doesn't have as many, but now that they're having a problem with the school system, they're bringing them in to Ashland, and they're renting their houses and homes or whatever they are to the illegal immigrants. And now they're building apartments because there's too many of them coming into the school system. There's no place to put them anymore, and they have to build more apartments. So when you see these apartment complexes going up in your little neighborhoods here, don't think that these apartments is all for you, the Americans. It's not. It's really, a lot of them are for the illegal immigrants, but they're not telling you that. Now, Framingham, let's think about what's happening in Framingham. Framingham just approved on Waverly Street, where the old motorcycle Harley-Davidson shop was, big plaza there, and they approved, I believe it's 250 apartments, okay? So let's just think if there's usually like 2 people per apartment. I mean, that's almost 500 people that they're bringing into the town. So the question is going to be who are they going to bring and put in these apartments? Are they bringing in the working class people that are coming from going to Boston to work, they're picking up the train, or are they going to put a lot of Section 8 people in there, a lot of people on vouchers that are illegal immigrants that have gotten into the system? The question that I have, nobody has really looked into that. On Concord Street, on Howard Street, on the corner right diagonally across from the Salvation Army, the Soas faction, or Suez faction, or whatever it's called. It used to be sportswear. they're putting almost another 150 to 200 unit complex there also. And again, who are you going to put in this building? All right, is this building going to be for the working class people that are going to be taking the train to Boston, or is it going to be used to house illegal immigrants coming into the town? Because if it is, those two buildings is going to be a killer for Framingham and who's coming in. Because if they're bringing in illegal immigrants and they're going to fill these apartments, that means they're going to have 2 or 3 kids. And so in another 5 or 10 years, you're going to need 2 or 3 more schools. I mean, really, think about it. I mean, you bring in 100 or 200 more. I mean, that's a whole other school practically that you have to build. So that's where Framingham is having a problem. They're making it look like they're trying to revitalize the town. And I have no problem with revitalizing the town. But you better be revitalizing the town with people that are legal and are coming here that aren't going to live off the system here. Because when the illegal immigrants come into town, they automatically, okay, they get into the housing situation. They get into they get free medical. They go to SMOC and get on all these programs that they get free food vouchers. What's it called? EBT card or whatever it is.
Well, it's welfare.
Welfare. It's like, welfare. Basically, they get on welfare. So the illegal immigrants get automatically onto the welfare system. Whereas the American, citizen, they can't get on it because maybe they have a job, they're making too much money. Not much more money, but they're making too much money to get on these programs. Whereas the legal immigrants they say don't make any money. But don't be fooled there, though, okay? Because a lot of illegal immigrants make plenty of money. They make plenty of money to send the money back home to their countries, and they drive nice cars, okay? They probably got a nicer car than me or you. And then what they do is, wherever they live, they can put 4 or 5 people into their homes and rent the home out to them. And I notice a lot of what's going on now is a lot of these immigrants will buy these houses cash. They buy houses, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 houses cash, okay? And then they will take each floor of that house and turn it into a 3-room. Not a 3-room, but a 3-house. It's one house into 3 houses now because they rent each floor to a group of immigrants, and they make a lot of money doing this. And it's been going on in Framingham for years, but again, nobody really cares about that. So this is the immigration situation that exists now in Framingham and Ashland. Now Natick's starting to have a problem there too. See, Natick doesn't have a lot of apartments either, but I just saw in the paper the other day about Natick, and they said that what's going on in Natick is they're getting 40 or 50 more kids into the school system a year. Again, just look at what's going on here. These aren't American kids. These are foreign kids that are coming here, and that's what the problem is. So that's what's going on with that. And again, these people that are coming here are not doing it the way my grandparents did. All right, that's the point. When my grandparents came here, they went out and worked. Okay, they were all legal, they worked, and there was no welfare system at the time. They worked, they had to provide. The families had to provide for each other. They didn't just get on the government dole and expect the government to pay for them. But the immigrants that are coming here now, think about it, like for instance Brazil. In Brazil, average Brazilian makes about $100 a month. All right, a month. They come here, okay? They immediately get on the welfare system. They're making out so well. They're living like kings compared to in Brazil. You see what I'm saying? In other words, they're getting free medical. They're getting free schooling. They get their food vouchers. They're getting more in the food voucher than they made in the whole month working in their past country. And then if they do get into buying houses somehow, or that, and renting them out, they make money that way, and then they have 2 or 3 jobs, on top of that. So the amount of money that they're making is a lot more than you think. They're not as poor as you think, the immigrants that are coming here. So that's where we stand. There's a big difference between how the Irish came in, how the Italians came in, and how the immigrants are coming in today. Because the immigrants that are coming in today, are really a big expense off of us American citizens who are actually, we're the ones paying for them being here and up through our taxes. Especially the middle class. I mean, they're getting pounded away on their taxes. But hey, a lot of the people in Massachusetts are liberals, so if they want to pay for it, let them pay for it. I say, good luck. It's the other ones that are going to suffer, not me, because I'm retired and Diane's retired, and that's another story. But I mean, the people that are working still middle class, they're the ones that are going to get beat by all this. Did you have any other questions?
I had a comment. Originally, when the so-called immigrants were coming to this country, they were actually British subjects coming to another British territory, so it was merely like us going to Hawaii. Eventually then came the flood of the immigrants had to be vetted through Ellis Island, very specific rules, as Jim was saying. Whereas today, as a result of the outgoing administration, basically had an engraved invitation to any and everything that was considered third world. They would be allowed to come through Mexico, whereas before the Mexicans had a very strict immigration policy, a little wink wink nod nod to Vicente Fox and Obama, and then they're allowing trainloads of them coming up through into the country. Okay, now this administration is going out. Can you tell me, based on the fact that HUD said, no, you don't have to check for immigration status. You aren't required to. That's why they don't do it here. What do you think or hope to happen when we have the Trump administration?
Well, I hope Trump really, sees what's going on with the immigration situation. I mean, they talk about building a fence. I think the fence is really kind of a crazy situation, because I think that you can build it like an electronic fence and really watch it and make sure you'll see people coming over. Physical fence, I think, is kind of waste of money. But we need something, all right? We need something to stop people from coming here. I mean, that's the biggest thing. So, Trump, at this point in time, as we do this video today, Trump hasn't really done much there, but, we'll be dealing with that as it goes on. I hope that Trump takes a harder stand on the immigration situation, but, I don't know. We'll just have to see what's going to happen there. I do want to bring out another problem in Framingham that I try to address through town meeting, but they don't listen, because my town meeting basically is run, a lot of liberals, well, let's put it this way. The Democrats run Framingham and Ashland, and probably Natick too. Okay, the Democrats, Massachusetts is a Democratic state. And, most of the town meeting, I would say probably, we have about 150 members, and I would say maybe 30 of those members are conservative type, Republican type of people, whereas the majority, 100, 120 of them, 30 of them, are Democrats. And so they're liberal, and they really don't care. They don't care about immigration. They don't care about anything. They spend a lot of money, and that's what they seem to do. But what's happening in Framingham? We have the fullest school in Framingham. That it's a Framingham school. Okay, I guess it's a middle school, and they have what they call ESL classes being taught there. Now, ESL is English Second Language classes. Now, the kids that are, not the kids, the people that are taking the classes, there's probably about 600 to 800 people that are taking those classes. And the majority of them, I'd say 80% of them, are illegal immigrants. And we brought that up, the attention of the people in the town about doing something about it to find out who's in that program that's legal or, whatever. And they didn't do it. Okay, no one cares. So we have a Framingham school system that is actually breaking the law because it's against the law to help illegal immigrants in any way. I mean, if you give them housing, if you give them anything, if you provide even ESL classes. Now, the reason why this is wrong is it's not children; these are adults. So you're actually, you're providing a service for illegal immigrants. See, that's against the law. The immigration laws actually show that that's not what you're supposed to do. But the Framingham school system is allowing this, and that just shows the criminal activity that's going on in my town. That is highly illegal to do that. And if they were to do that, the people in the program should be legal. And if we're providing any money, which we do through a HUD grant, not that much, probably $20,000 or $30,000 a year, whatever it is. I think it was 20,000. That's supposed to just go to Framingham people. But the majority of the people that are taking the ESL classes are not from Framingham. They're from all over New England. And nobody cares. Nobody checks to see where they're from. Nobody tells you where they're from, because the names and addresses of these people, for the most part, are probably false anyway. Because they use false IDs and false documents to come here to survive here. And, what are you going to do? You're going to look at that paper and say, oh, okay, well, they have no means. Well, they have means of checking them, but they don't care. They don't check them. They could use the government services, E-Verify is one of them or whatever. They could use these to do it, but they don't do it. Okay, so that's a problem in Framingham. So I hope you can understand that Framingham is the gateway to illegal immigration. Okay, they come here first because we have SMOC, which is very happy to provide for them, because the way SMOC operates, the more people in the system, the more money they get. Okay, because knuckleheads in the State House, they see that they got a lot more people, but of course they don't tell you that the people are illegal immigrants. Remember, SMOC was set up for American citizens. It really wasn't set up for illegal immigrants. And so SMOC will get more money to use in their system to provide for illegal immigrants. So they come here, they use SMOC services, and another store in Framingham that is a great store. Well, it used to be the Salvation Army, but they moved out because they would come here and then get all clothed and all the things they needed to move in their apartments. But now we have Savers. Great place, great store, I love it. But a lot of the illegal immigrants go to that store and get their clothes and get everything, and they're all set to go wherever they want to go. So that's a whole other problem with the illegal immigrants, coming here. And again, the effect on the school system is where the money's being spent, out of our pocket anyway, from the schools. Now, getting free health care and getting free food and debit cards and welfare and all that, that's a whole other story, because that takes in the whole state, takes in the whole country too. So everybody in the country is contributing to the paying for the illegal immigrants, but mainly we're paying for the illegal immigrants through our taxes because of the school system and having to build new schools and having to provide for them in the schools. And then again in Framingham, we're dealing with the ESL program, which is an illegal activity going on there, and they're providing the service there. So that's not right there.
Anything else you would like to add?
Well, I just want people to understand that, I've been speaking out against illegal immigration in this town since 2002, 3, and I even had cable shows dealing with it. And at first the people, enjoyed the topic. They thought, especially the American people, because they saw the problem. Right now, it seems like nobody cares anymore about it. That's why I don't really speak a lot about it. Of course, I really don't have an avenue to speak on TV except for this station here now, because when you start telling the truth about certain things, some people don't want you to hear it, okay? Especially you people that are watching. And so, what I have to say is I think important, and people should know about it. But it's not hate. I don't hate illegal immigrants. I've probably been around and worked, around illegal immigrants more than anybody here. All the various ways that I've been around. So you can't say that. And I've really had no problems with them, except the fact that the ones I have spoken out against, some of them didn't like what I had to say, maybe. But other immigrants have come up to me, I'm talking legal immigrants, have come up to me and said, I like what you say. You're absolutely right about the illegal immigrants, because the illegal immigrants is now crouching in on their ability to work and survive in this country. But now it's going to Ashland, now it's going to Natick, it's already in Marlborough. So, we have several towns around here. In Milford, that's another town that, has a lot of illegal immigrants there too. And it's affecting them too, and again, the schools is the biggest way it affects you. So I just, want people to be aware that, we're not here to harm immigrants or harm illegal immigrants, but we're just letting people know the cost. All right, it's a cost that we, the citizens, have to take upon our shoulders, and it doesn't cost them anything. because they don't report their income, they don't show what they make, okay, and they could be making, $50,000 a year and nobody's going to know about it. It's a big problem. It's only going to get worse too, unless if Trump really starts to pull in the reins of this through the towns, then it will be good. But if that doesn't happen, then we're pretty much sunk, and it's just going to keep costing us a lot of money, and we'll have to deal with it. So, that's about it on my end on that topic, anyway.
Well, thank you very much, Jim Rizoli. I appreciate you coming by. And just in summary, we have evolved to be a country of immigrants, legally at first, allowing in mostly European individuals. Now it is a flood of third world individuals. Our failed economic and aggressive foreign policy has made refugees out of those that, interestingly, the Syrians coming in, soldier age men. Interestingly, whatever happened to the women and children as they're coming across the border. So we are having to deal with a flood of immigration in every state of this union. Massachusetts is taking a big hit from the Brazilian group that seemed to focus in on Framingham and the surrounding areas. We are a majority of people who had voted Trump in to attempt to deal with this problem. We have that hope that he will do something about it because it is out of control. Those who have allowed it are looking at these incoming people as voters. We look at them as interlopers and invaders. Again, the people who have come in legally are being shortchanged by those who are subverting the system. So we take you back to the Irish people, the Italian people, March being a month to celebrate the Irish people. And so happy St. Patrick's Day, and we'll talk with you again. This is Diane King for Connect the Dots.